Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crowdsourced Challenge in Farming Simulator 19 on Marwell Manor Farm. It's episode 6, I think. Yes, it will be episode 6 today. And that means even numbered episode, no wheel, no new rules. Although I will be very open in saying I do need to take a couple of rules off the wheel from yesterday's episode before I record tomorrow's, because they directly conflict with what's in the rules already. So if there's a rule that directly conflicts, I do need to remove others. But we are going to be pulling double duty in the fast track today. We're going to start off in field 15, which is finally finished ploughing. And the fast track's going to have PTSD after this from field 15. But we are going to be spreading a bit of solid fertilizer. I have, while I've been waiting, I forgot to do it after the recording yesterday, while I was waiting for the fast track to finish, I actually continued work in field 18, and that's nearly fully fertilized. I'll get that finished possibly in today's stream. I haven't decided what today's stream is going to be. I'll decide probably shortly before the stream. It really depends on whether or not I want to use the 1.3 beta, because I'll need to update all of my scripts, which I should probably do that tonight anyway. So I might, tonight meaning last night. So if I decide to go to the 1.3 beta, if I can check all the mods that I've got that are GitHub, and just double check that they all work in 1.3, then I will be updating to the 1.3 beta, and multiplayer will kind of be on hiatus until patch 1.3 drops, which will possibly be a few weeks. If I don't go to 1.3, it's about a 50-50 shot. It really depends on how I feel, because sometimes I'm just not in the mood for multiplayer, and it ends up badly if I'm doing multiplayer, so I'll try and do multiplayer if I'm still in patch 1.2, if I've not updated to the beta patch. Otherwise I will be doing some Marwell. I hope those of you that were there enjoyed yesterday's stream of Explain. If you, I meant to do this yesterday, and I know this. I'll put was it Thursday's archive live when I'm done here. I'll put yesterday's archive live as well. If you're interested in flight sims, go watch the Explain video or Explain stream archive. You can skip through it if you really wish. But if you were there for the majority of it, or even a bit, feel free to let me know in the comments of that video, or that archive, what I could do better. Because I'd like to do more flight sim content, if I can at all, and I'd like to know how I can improve that. Same with this, I suppose. You know, if you think I can improve this without saying take all the evil rules, Dave, because I want this to be a longer form series, as you may have figured out from the, was it yesterday's video? I'm getting so confused. It's 10:30 at night. I shouldn't be recording, but I've left it till now to record. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll know what my plans are for this series moving forwards, and kind of aims. So you'll know that the evil rules are being intentionally left out so that the series is watchable, up until the point where I achieve the goals for the series. In the meantime, I'm going to be taking some of the more, some of the nicer evil rules. I will try and tweak them as much as I can so that, things are watchable. Like there's a rule about selling milk at certain times, and that I have said I'll try and follow that rule exactly, but if I need to tweak it I will, because sometimes you just need to tweak rules for them to be watchable on YouTube, because I don't want to be trying to sell milk and it's pitch black and you guys can't see anything. The hard worker rule that was suggested is just straight up in the wheel, because that's a good rule, and there's some other interesting ones that I do like that are put in the wheel as well. So it's not me just straight up projecting rules that I think add to the challenge, I guess. This is a strange thing. It's like I know that some of you might think that I'm rejecting rules that add challenge to to this series. No, I'm rejecting rules that add just difficulty for the sake of difficulty to the series. Like rules banning like auto orders and stuff. That's just difficulty for the sake of difficulty. Rules saying that I can't use course play or hard workers. That's again just difficulty for the sake of difficulty. Like difficulty should be something that is hard to do, not just something that wastes a lot of time. And it's something that too many games do as well. It's just like Dark Souls does this to a certain extent, and a lot of shooter games do this as well. It's like the higher difficulties are just enemies have more hit points, so they take longer to kill. Well, that's not really difficult. Surely on the higher difficulties, enemies are more accurate, meaning they'll hit you more, meaning you need to watch what you're doing a bit more. That's difficult. Making everything a bullet sponge in a shooting game isn't difficulty, that's just padding the game for the sake of it. So that's kind of how I view the difficulty kind of aspect of this challenge. Is like, if you're going to do something that just straight up makes things more difficult for me, like I'm only allowed to sell crops at certain times, which, by the way, I'm not going to do it like only between 5 and 6 PM on a great demand. No, because I'll need, like, a great demand can happen anytime and I will need to be selling crops. Or, you know, only able to store them in grain sheds. Well, that's kind of pointless because that's just adding, you know, granted, it's adding another job for me to do, but it just ends up with me ending... It results in me spending basically an entire stream trying to sell, you know, 50,000 litres or something. There's a balance that I've got to try and strike, so... While I do apologise for any rules that I'm saying just straight up no to, there's a reason behind it. It's just that I want to keep this, number one, playable, because I need to have fun playing this. And doing this challenge, and number two, watchable, because it can become boring if you're watching a challenge and like it's me doing the same job 16 times in a row. In terms of jobs that are going to be done in the very near future on this map, the John Deere is going to be picking up the plough again. In fact, is it worth me doing that now? Because the John Deere... No, because I need to... Can you... The second job this thing's going to have to do is lime up Field 19, and Field 19 needs ploughing, so the John Deere is going to be doing Field 19. I am trying to alternate the tractors on the plough just because it... yeah, it means I can use both tractors, basically. It's not okay, you know, I've been spamming the John Deere lately because the fast track was on the plough. I was spamming the fast track before that because the John Deere was on the plough, so we'll be moving back to the fast track for a little bit while Field 19 is done. Hopefully it can pull the seeder, because I'm going to need it to seed this field. If not, then it'll be trouble, basically. I do have plans for the... I did mention that I'll get a small tractor for dealing with BGA stuff. I have figured out what tractor I want to get. And I've put it in game, and I'll get it when I can afford it. That said, I haven't checked how much it is, so... I'm 90% sure I can't afford it right now, but without checking how much it costs, I obviously don't know. In the meantime, we do still have quite a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping to get a great demand for, is it barley that I've got just an absolute metric ton of? Yeah, barley in the very near future. And I'm gonna solemnly swear to you guys that I don't edit the XMLs or do any cheats that result in great demands magically appearing when they're most convenient for me, because... You know, that is something that I do know how to do, but I'm not going to do it. I solemnly swear that I'm not going to cheat. You know, I'm not using money cheat, and that's super easy for me to do. So, you're going to have to trust me that I'm not going to cheat in great demands. Unless it gets to the point where there's, like, everything's full and there's no great demand for anything, and I've run out of money. Then I'll kind of have my hand forced to, like, I'll need to sell something, so I'm gonna create a great demand for, like, whatever crop is cheapest, just so that I can empty out the silos a bit. But in the meantime, I'm not gonna cheese anything. I also need to be concerned about what other rules might come up, because there is one that I have to buy animals. And that is something that is definitely a concern. Strangely, no rule about manually transporting animals as much as possible. I know that chickens, it's impossible, but so, yeah, chickens would have to be an exception to the rule about manually transporting animals. Nothing about me having to have at least one of every animal. Which, by the way, if there's a rule saying I have to have at least, you know, larger number than one of every animal, well, that just overrules that segment, or a larger number than one of an animal, because I'm not going to have, like, 25 horses or something. But say, if there's a rule saying I have to have one of every animal, then that's a challenge. Because then I'll need to worry about, well, how am I going to afford feed for one sheep, or one chicken, or one pig? And what if a rule comes in that says, you know, I have to have 25 pigs? That suddenly changes things. You know, that's genuine difficulty, but as of yet, I'll just put it in the wheel, will I, before whoever suggests it, because I've said it now in a video, and that normally means that the rule that I say in the video that isn't in the wheel will be suggested in the video, and therefore I should put it in the wheel. Because that's what happened. That's what's happened the last few times I've said, oh, this rule doesn't exist, and I'm kind of surprised that somebody's just suggested it during the video or in the comments because, hey, Dave said this is a good idea. I'm going to do this. Should I just put it in the wheel now? I can already see you guys typing, hey, Dave, rule about one of every animal. Bet you didn't see that coming, Dave, huh? So let's unload the fertilizer and load up the lime. I know that I technically should be using a pallet fork for this, but there's no rule saying I have to just yet, so I'm cheesing it, yo. Also, I like how the fertilizer pallets have all gone in like a really nice bit of a formation. I don't know if the lime is going to work on field 19, so I'm just going to run up without using the speed limit, because I want to do this quickly and just run a test and just double check that I can in fact lime field 19 here, because I don't know where the I see the boundaries now. So let's unfold this and just see if we can. Okay, we can. That's great. So let's fill up the spreader and get going then. That's literally all I want to know is, will this work? Because the next job on field 19 is going to be plowing it. So we'll re-enable the speed limit now. And by re-enable the speed... What are you doing? Hang on, what are you... Excuse me, we don't appreciate ghost power on this farm, I'll have you know. It's just spinning. It's not even attached to any... What is going on? There's no generator, there's no hydraulics, there's no PTO, and that's just... run away from the ghost. Answers on a postcard. Because I have no idea what was going on there. Oh yeah, I've got to open this because for some reason the trigger doesn't appreciate me having the cover closed. Where's the fighter jet? There it is. So we got what? We're about halfway through, so this is... I'm not going to get all the line down today. That much I know. How much would a bigger plough be? Just out of curiosity. So the next plough up would be the... oh god. This is like a genuine problem that I've got with FS19 is like you jump from a €14,000 plough to a €59,000 plough. And from 2.5 meters to 5. Like, that's a bit of an extreme jump. Surely there should be like a 4 meter width plough with 7 or 8, like with maybe 6 or 7 furrows in the middle there, and it just doesn't exist. And I keep looking for them, and they just don't exist. How much would I... This is probably an even worse idea here. How much would a subsoiler in that range cost? 9,500 for 4 meters. I might get a Cultiplow, you know. It's 9,500. How much horsepower does it need? I mean, the 8 meters. I might get a Cultiplow. Or Combi Plow. Even. That might be an option. Because it's bigger and somehow requires less horsepower. I don't know how that logic works, but it definitely does. And it does work as a plow, so... I don't think you can plow fields with it, though. It's the only kind of... You can't plow in new fields. But why would I want to? This is a conundrum. Do I get a Cultiplow? Or a subsoiler? Because it can plow the fields, it'll cultivate the fields, and it'll be wider and possibly faster than a plow? Possibly? And it's cheaper than the plow I have. So the real question is, why haven't I got one yet? Yeah. I'm now kind of rethinking this series a small bit. There's no rule against using subsoilers. In fact, you guys have kind of been encouraging me to try them. Should I get a subsoiler for field 19? This field. Because, I mean, it's going to be made grass again anyway. This, I think, is like the best field for grass that I've got. Maybe field 15, but trying to get a combine around some of the finicky bits on this field, especially that corner, would be troublesome at best. Definitely trying to bale this field would be fun. Then again, I've baled it already for hay. Do I turn this into a crop field and turn field 15 into a grass field? Because moving forwards, I'm not going to need a silly amount of grass. In fact, I could almost, but maybe not quite, get rid of this field entirely for the time being. Just turn it into a crop field. It is a tempting prospect. And there's the bit that just for some reason didn't grow. I do not understand you, bit of field that didn't grow. So the big problem would be this pointy bit here, that the combine would just get stuck several times. I think I'm going to leave this field as grass. Or, well, reseed it as grass. I know that it's going to be temporarily ploughed up, but I'm going to reseed it as grass, just so that it has full usage again. And we'll get it fully fertilized and stuff, and get as much grass out of this as we can until it needs more lime. Because then I'll probably dig it up and just make it a crop field, because by then I should have another grass field somewhere. Because in the meantime, then I can sell like hay bales and consider getting silage together for the BGA. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Also, for the first time, I'm finally finding the edges of this field, courtesy of lime. I'm feeling like this should stay as grass until the next time it needs lime. At which point, I should, in theory, have enough money together to buy at least one other grass field, because we won't need that much grass unless we... I've heard 1.3 has different feed values for the animals, so we might not need as much grass as a whole. So the real question is, do we even need this field to be... Well, we do need this field to be grass for now. We need at least one grass field just to keep the hay coming in. And, oh, Stream Deck, why you do this? Just to keep hay coming in and stuff. But I think moving forwards, once we do probably 3 more harvests we'll get out of this. I think it's every 3 harvests you need to lime. Once we get to that point, I might consider turning this into a crop field. Or at least most of it into a crop field. I might keep that little jutting out bit as grass, just for ease, because I can't see the combine liking the very tight turn up at the top. And we're going to go refill this because it needs refilling. So we can just about do a headland with a full spreader of lime. This, by the way, is why I'm making the lime an exception for any big bags rules, because it would basically be a full Brown trailer of lime every few minutes, because the lime goes so quickly. Plus the telehandler doesn't tend to like the lime pallets all that much. It tends to be a bit tippy with them, especially the lime big bags. So there is some logic behind me saying I'm gonna just use this silo instead of getting butt tons of lime and going effectively nowhere with it. On top of the fact that 14,000 litres just cost me 2,000. It is cheaper from the silos. It's just occurred to me, it is cheaper from the silos, because what's the price of a big bag of lime and what do you get? So for 400 you get 2,000 times 7, 2,800 versus 2,300 that I just... You pay more for buying pallets. Because, yeah, the lime big bags only hold 2,000 or 450. It is straight up cheaper to use the lime buy points. There you go. I know that a few people have been wondering that, including myself. And there's the answer. It is cheaper to use the silos than using the big bags. I'm not sure if I like that. I think you should pay for the convenience. I think the silos should be slightly more expensive. And it was cheaper by 500 as well, so that's not a drop in the ocean. That's quite a lot of money to be cheaper on something that was only $2,000. Wow. We have learned today, children and adults, and Fahy if he's watching. We have learned that it is better to be lazy with lime than to actually put in the effort with lime. When it comes to buying it, at least, it is just better if you've got lime switched on as a thing you can do in the game. Where it forces it anyway. It is better to use lime because it does increase fertilization. That was something I didn't expect to learn or to find out at all. Was that the silos are cheaper for lime by about 20% as well, which that ain't no small number. So there's no reason to use the big bags then, for lime at least. For seeds and like solid and liquid fertilizer, I genuinely don't care. I prefer using the big bags. I think it's much more fun because you can do silly things with them, and I have done silly things with them off camera, so expect to see silly things happen eventually. But yeah, I'm kind of shocked, to be quite honest. Wasn't expecting that to be a thing. I do like how the lime like shows up so brightly under the grass. It looks like I'm just deleting the grass texture underneath. The game gets confused and it's just like, I don't know what this is, it's white now. But no, it's the lime texture. Oh, one more thing, and this is something that I'm doing. I have been doing kind of quietly in the background, but I'm gonna just give the open call now. If you're a map maker and you've got some errors in your map and you can't find anybody that'll help, shoot me a message on like Discord or something, with like a screenshot of the errors, and I will try and decode them for you and see if I can come up with a solution. If I can't, I will do my best to point you towards something or someone that might be able to help. Because for whatever reason I tend to be quite good at figuring out what the errors actually are. Don't know why, but that's just a thing I can do, and so far I've not got one wrong. So yeah, don't be afraid to shoot me a message if you're having problems getting a map to work, if you're getting errors on something. I've probably seen those errors before, and I probably know how they were fixed before. So unless something's changed in the meantime, I'll probably be able to figure out how to fix it now. And I haven't used FS19's GE yet, but I still seem to just know these things and be able to figure them out. Because I guess errors are errors are errors are errors. Sometimes the solution I give you isn't the correct solution, but it's one that works. It's something that, in theory at least, will pass through Giants testing, which... I mean, if you're wanting to release a map through Giants, then that's the level of fixing you're gonna want. It's something that'll not flag up for Giants. Might still not be technically perfect, but if it doesn't flag up as an error for Giants, that's all you really need. And yes, I am saying you don't need to make a perfect map for Giants, because you really don't. You just need something that isn't gonna flag a million errors or have like huge, massive, blatantly obvious problems. You just need something that works. You just need something that's objectively good. Doesn't need to be perfect. My own standards are probably quite high. Probably higher than Giants. Sometimes I'll not like a map because it's something that's, like, technically fine, but something that I just don't take I just take a disliking to for maybe there's a reason behind it, maybe there's no reason at all. So, if you're a map maker and I say, oh, I don't like your map, and I don't give a reason, it's probably because there is no reason. I just have taken a disliking to it, or just hasn't spoken to me or something. Don't be offended. In any case, that's about all we have time for. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, didn't I? That's all we have time for today, I'm afraid. If I'm streaming tomorrow, we'll be finishing off the lime here and getting the definitely the deer now onto a cultiplow course to see how that works out. Probably badly. And hopefully getting the fast track into the field to seed. If not, we'll be finishing this up and going to seed, I guess. I'll leave you, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe and all that. And do leave comments and rule suggestions and stuff down below. Feel free to answer any of the questions that I asked in the video as well, because I want answers. Until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.